Hi guys, this is Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club, and today I am making a layout using the May main kit only. This kit is packed full of crepe paper, all heart, but I am using the bits from the kit that are from the Dear Lizzy collection. It's all good, as well as a sheet of Paige Evans paper as well from Horizon. So basically I'm picking out all of the gold and orange and peachy tones and some blues as well from the kit. So basically I am trying to create a layout. I was also supposed to focus on the faux suede flowers that are in the June kit, but as I don't have my June kit yet, I decided to focus on the lovely, beautiful fabric bows that were exclusive in our May kit. So what I'm doing is I'm going with a white cardstock background, and I'm fussy cut all of those beautiful gold flowers from the sheet of Dear Lizzy paper, a Speciality paper. So I've cut all of those, well, not all of them, but cut quite a few of them out. And I want to use them as a base under my photo. It doesn't actually quite work out like that in the end, because I added some extra paper layers and I've got them spraying out from those rather than as a base for my photo. So I'm just spending a few minutes putting my bows together. So I just wanted to have them ready-made so that I could position them on my layout without worrying about the fact that they weren't all stuck together yet. So I've just made them up, and then I can add them to my layout where I want and rearrange them. They're so gorgeous, aren't they, these bows? They're fabric and they're lovely colours. You can mix and match them. I haven't done that this time. I've kept them all the same colour, but they're such beautiful colours and lovely. It's so lovely to have this texture on the layouts as well. Okay, so I'm just layering up my photo there. I've pulled through a bit of the notebook paper from the crepe paper all heart, and I've also used a piece of the gingham paper, which is the Dear Lizzy one, and I fussy cut out all of the peaches, well, not all of them, but some of the peaches from the Dear Lizzy It's All Good paper, and I'm absolutely in love with this paper here, the one that I'm just using there. I really wanted to use it as a full background, but I was a bit scared to do so because I'm not that great at pattern paper backgrounds, so I decided to use a small amount of it. So I've created a torn piece for the bottom of my layout there. As you can see, I'm just kind of layering it up. It actually is quite a small piece. It's not very I didn't want it to be overpowering because I wanted the cluster of the photo to be there, and I considered putting it at the top as well as the bottom, but in the end I just decided on the bottom. Because it's white background pattern on the paper, I was worried it wouldn't show up against my white cardstock background, so that's why I used the orange Paige Evans Horizon paper to give it a bit of a border, and the orange goes so beautifully with this Dear Lizzy collection anyway, so yeah, that worked out really well. I'm trying to use that notebook paper. I really love it, but I had a bigger piece of it for under my photo, but that didn't look right, so I cut it down, and then I was left with this piece that I could use at the top, and that's what I decided to do was instead of putting that other pattern paper at the top, was to have this little feature of the notebook paper showing. However, it wasn't wide enough, so I had to stick it back together as you do. I've stuck it back together and put it behind my white cardstock background and created a little tear section at the top there, so it kind of looks like it's poking down or poking out from behind my background. Yeah, there you go. That's what I've done with that, and now I'm just getting my cluster in place. So you can see where I've got my photo stack, and I'm now trying to get my flowers and my peaches all arranged in a way that looks nice. I want to extend my flower clusters towards the top of the layout, just to kind of bring all the elements together to make them all look like they're supposed to be where they are. It just kind of brings it together, makes it look more uniform, to have unity. I'm just working with those flowers. They're so beautiful. I've tucked one over onto the right hand side of the layout at the bottom. I'm just putting in one of those light pink crepe paper or heart frames. That's going to go behind my paper layers. So even though this is a photo of my little boy, I really don't mind using pink on my layouts. Lots of people get hung up on that, but for me, I really don't mind. This is not a layout about his personality. It's about the fact that he fell asleep while we were out on holiday in the sun, and he had a very busy day, and he kind of just sat down to chill out on the sun lounger and fell fast asleep, which is very unlike him because he's 6 now, so he's long past having naps during the day. But he was just so shattered, and it was just a really cute photo. And we were outside, and it's just this colour palette worked really well with the feel of the photo or how I know that the situation was when the photo was taken. I'd say I don't mind using pink on the layout. There's quite a bit of pink in here, although it's not predominantly pink, obviously. And that little crepe paper frame behind the photo was an ideal light tone. Just getting some bits in now, finishing off my photo cluster, getting everything stuck down. I wanted my peaches to stand up a bit and have some dimension. I pulled through some of the puffy stickers from the crepe paper all heart thickers and bought those in as well. So some word ones. So we've got yay for today, we've got daydream and the word happy. The little bits of blue, the blue gingham behind the photo, the blue journaling card that the photo is mounted on, gives a nice more of a masculine feel. So rather than the real ice cream tones that is in the Dear Lizzy It's All Good collection, the little pop of navy, which is also in that collection too, really kind of makes it gives a great contrast, and as I say, gives a small male edge to my layout. Really not a male layout, but you know what I mean. The blue works well, and also I've got that blue fabric bow, which is one of the exclusive bows from the May kits, and the blue and the light blue and the navy go really well together too. So I just wanted to extend my flower cluster at the top there all the way up to the top of the point of the tear at the top. So what I've done is I've grabbed a small heart punch and I've punched out some teeny tiny hearts, and I'm just scattering those. Because I'm using the main kit only, I don't have any sequins, and that's what I would normally do, is use the sequins from the top of the cluster up to the top of that point. But because I don't have any in this main kit, I'm using tiny hearts punched from pattern paper instead, and they create exactly the same effect. I'm literally just finishing things off now, so I'm trying to get in some bits and pieces. I really love the words, the hashtags on that paper, the Dear Lizzy paper. So I cut a few out and I've poked them over to the right hand side. I want to extend my cluster on the right towards the edge of the cardstock, and I do that by adding in those 2 hashtags, and also I put my journaling there too. You'll see that in a bit. So just adding in a few more of those little hearts as well. I say if they were sequins, I would have them scattered all around, so I'm doing the same thing with those effectively. So I'm just getting all those stuck down. They're very tiny, so just using a small amount of wet glue. They can't really be raised on foam pads. So I'm adding here a few tangles of gold thread. I use a We Are Memory Keepers metallic thread, and it does create some great tangles. So I'm just adding those in and making my ends hang down, so they just makes the layout a little bit more whimsical, with the little bits poking out. And not tied in, I mean. Nearly there, really nearly there. Just got the last few bits to do. That paperclip is from the exclusive ephemera. However, I forgot to stick it down, and then when I took the photo of my layout, it had fallen off. So that little paperclip at the top of my photo doesn't actually make it onto the final layout in the end. So now I'm adding my title. So I wanted to use those really lovely exclusive Hip Kit Club alphabet stickers, and I was struggling with placement here. I wasn't quite sure. I like the top bit. When in doubt, that was fine, but I wanted chill out at the bottom. The letters didn't work that well together. The two L's together I never like, because it leaves a kind of a big gap, so I wasn't happy with where they were, so I moved them around a few times, but in the end I settle on underneath the bows. I've got the 3 little bows there, you can see above the title, and off camera I do actually add some gold machine stitching. I go all the way along the torn edge at the bottom, and I go through the alphabet stickers as well, and that's just to make sure that they stay in place, because alphabet stickers have a habit of falling off at a later date, so I like to get those sewn on or stuck on with extra glue. So you can see there I've just added in my journaling. I've just used a grey pen, and I've underlined it as well actually with a ruler, and that really does extend my cluster over to the right hand side of the layout. So that is me done. Thank you so much for joining me today for focusing on those beautiful fabric bows and using the May main kit only. Happy scrapping!